my perspective, I want to be sure that we get small businesses starting and growing in America again. We have stalled out. I was very surprised to see that when I began to dig into it, because people were telling me this as I traveled around the country the last 2 years, but I didn't know what they were saying, and it turns out that we're not producing as many small businesses as we used to.
Really? She was traveling. They were telling her this, but she didn't know what they were saying. I don't even know what that means. Maybe Steve Forbes, the chairman of Forbes Media, editor-in-chief of Forbes.com, former Republican presidential candidate, could tell us. Always good to see you, sir.
Good to see you, Steve.
All right, so Hillary Clinton is surprised that small businesses are struggling, and she has the answer. The woman who had said, don't let them tell you corporations and businesses provide jobs. Larry Kudlow, our good friend, yesterday told me she's economically bipolar.
Well, what you have in a situation, what she said in that statement, shows she's been living in a bubble for many years. Didn't understand when people said you have a troubled economy. Oh, what do you mean? Washington says it's good. Now that she's running, she suddenly is changing her tune. But at the same time, she's expressing this real concern about small businesses. She's promoting policies that crush small businesses. Federal Reserve gumming up the credit markets hurts small and new businesses. Horrific tax code hurts small businesses. All the uncertainties and rules and regulations about health care hurts small businesses more than anybody else. So on the one hand, she's a doctor saying to the patient, oh, I feel your pain. On the other hand, prescribing snake oil.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, it just shows how out of touch she is, because people like you and people, I mean, she even said she's been traveling around the country for the past 2 years, which is a surprise to me. And people have been telling her this, but she didn't understand what they were saying. Doesn't that speak to how hard it is to get her to communicate and feel what the average person is feeling and going through?
Well, maybe without those $300,000 fees, her mind is now clear to listen to what people are actually saying.
But let me ask you this. Is she going to topple you? Because certainly you're proudly one of the 1%, and she said she is going to topple the 1%.
Well, put aside the fact that the 1% constantly changes in this mobile society that we have here in the United States. Put aside the fact the Obama administration's been practicing trickle-down economics, having the Fed try to prop up the market and have a trickle-down effect from the wealth effect. Put all of that aside. If you don't have investment, you don't have a growing economy. And so you want to encourage people to invest. You want to encourage people to save. Has she spoken out against the Federal Reserve? 0% interest rates, what that does to senior citizens, what that does to savers in this country, capital creation. Hello, there's bipolar, it's quadruple polar, a total disconnect with reality.
All right, but when she says, when she uses that language, topple, I mean, topple has implications. It's horrific, in my view, class warfare. And to say, and again, I want you to tell me or tell Hillary, is she gonna topple Steve Forbes?
No, she's going to find out that the American people recognize, as Ronald Reagan did 35 years ago when we had this class envy starting to rise up again in our country, that the American people want growth and opportunity. They don't want this class warfare and stagnation. We've seen how well that works in Europe. They want a chance to get ahead. As Abraham Lincoln put it, improve your lot in life. And she's pursuing the policies that make that impossible. That's where the disconnect comes from. You hurt the economy, then you say, my gosh, the economy is hurting. Let's hurt it some more in the name of saving it.
Right. Who on...
By the way, somebody should ask her, has there ever been a country that continuously raises taxes, trashes its money, has all this uncertainty, and prospers? Find it, please.
Talk about the fallacy. I mean, she goes back to, hey, under my husband, things were pretty good, 19 million jobs. That if you're going to count that there's going to be a brand new industry or a brand new startup like the internet under Hillary Clinton, maybe she'll create 19 million jobs. But that Clinton didn't. There were no Clinton policies that created 19 million jobs. Were there?
This is where the American political system is genius, in the sense that they stopped Bill Clinton from his own worst instincts. They stopped Hillary Care, which we saw in the personage of Obamacare, what that's done for the economy and access and costs in this country. Clinton ended up, because of Republican Congress, signing tax cuts, cutting the capital gains tax, fencing off the internet from taxation, and good things like that. And guess what? The economy prospered. When he raised taxes back in 1993, the economy, which was coming out of the 1991 recession, slowed down again. So the Republicans saved Bill Clinton. She doesn't realize it.
That's absolutely true. But I do want to take you back. Can she tighten the noose around the top? I know you say they keep changing, but whoever is 1% at the time, could she tighten that noose tighter?
What she can do, if she got in and had supreme powers, is make it impossible for people to rise up, whether in the 1% or the 99%.
But she's not going to take the people on top like you and be able to destroy them.
The people on top, she can put them on the sideline so the capital doesn't get put to work. She wastes it like they do in Europe, then wonders why you have 50% unemployment among young people. Sure, she can do that. But it's not toppling the 1%, it's toppling the American people.
On the Republican side, so many great candidates, and you've been at so many of the forums, your group with Larry Kudlow and Steve Moore and
Art Laffer.
Art. I know there's going to be more. Who fits your economic thinking?
I'm still at the look-see stage. I'm excited that people like Rand Paul and Ted Cruz are putting flat tax ideas out there. I want to see if they put on the table. Carly Fiorina says she likes a flat tax. So I want to see specifics that they put on the table, like Ronald Reagan when he ran. He came out in favor of a 30% across the board income tax cut.
If there's a flat tax in this country one day, it's got to be called the Forbes flat tax. It has to be. Great
Steve,
to see
good
you.
to see you.
Thank you, Steve Forbes. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back with Tim Graham, but first, travel credit cards. You know, they're a good way to accumulate airline miles or hotel points, and you could use that on your next vacation, but is that all there is to them? Here's your Max to Money moment. Don't go away.